numbers are.
You look at your ticket.
Whoa.
A little luck could go a long way.
Tuesday's Mega Millions jackpot is $395 million.
President Trump said, "I like Newsmax. You like it too." It's true. Millions of Americans agree with President Trump, and they're switching to Newsmax for the news they can trust. They're watching great shows with Greta, Carl Higbie, Rob Schmidt, Finnerty, and more. If you're tired of big media, start watching Newsmax. It's free to start. Go to newsmaxplus.com for immediate access. Get all of President Trump's most important events live. Imagine watching Mike Huckabee's Israel special, our Melania documentary, Clint Eastwood, Charlie Kirk specials, even the movie Jesus of Nazareth by Franco Zeffirelli. Once you start Newsmax Plus, you won't stop. So try it for free. Go to newsmaxplus.com, then download the app. It's easy. So make the switch to Newsmax Plus today.
Your morning is busy, so we'll keep it brief. Upgrade your routine with WJR's 5 Things First Thing. JR Morning with Chris, Lloyd, and Jamie break down the top 5 stories in just 5 minutes. Delivered straight to your device. Start your day by hitting play. Subscribe today on the always free WJR app.
It's more than news. It's a conversation. This is JR Afternoon on WJR. Here's Ryan Ermanni with Marie Osborne sitting in.
That's right. Ryan on vacation, continuing a great week off with his family, and I'll be with you all week long. So much happening today, as always. It just seems like every day we've just got lots of news happening, breaking. Just before we came on the air, this news in the Guthrie case that the Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos telling Fox News that this unknown male DNA profile on a glove found 2 miles from the home of Nancy Guthrie, it's now been run through the FBI's DNA database. It did not result in any matches. He said, we're hopeful that we're always getting closer, but the news now, I think, is that the DNA on that glove that was found 2 miles away was submitted for CODIS, and I just heard that CODIS had no hits. That's what he told Fox News. And when he was asked whether there was a CODIS match for the DNA recovered from inside Guthrie's home, whether that produced a match, Nanos also replied no. And I also think that's perhaps one of the bigger headlines here, too. He said that the DNA on the glove was different from the stuff found in the home. So we do know that. He did confirm that. And the FBI now has confirmed with Fox News Digital that the DNA did not have any hit on CODIS. Kind of disappointing news. But, you know, as we were told yesterday when we were talking about this particular story, you know, when we think of big murder cases that we've had recently or big cases like this, you think of the 4 University of Idaho students who were murdered a couple of years ago. The suspect there, Brian Kohlberger, it took a month to track him down. And as far as I know, he had not had any kind of interaction with police. So in other words, his DNA had not been in the CODIS database either. So they still managed to find the person who committed that crime. And we always have to hold out hope for this family and in this case and for really thousands of other families who find themselves in this a similar situation, that they will have resolution to their cases. And in this case, we hope that nothing more, that Nancy Guthrie be returned to her family. We're going to be talking more about this story coming up in our first segment. We have a former Michigan State Police officer who worked for many years, in fact, most of her career, dealing with unsolved cases, missing persons, similar cases to this. She worked with the families, obviously in law enforcement, bringing that perspective. And she's really an expert in this area. Sarah Krebs is also the founder and president of Missing in Michigan. Every year they have an event downtown where people who have missing family members or friends come together and share information and really kind of lean on each other and support each other. So we're going to be talking to her. I wanted to get the perspective from the family side of this. I mean, we're all wrapped up in, talking about this case and hearing about it. Everywhere I go, people ask me about it or they want to talk about this story, this particular story. But really, when you stop and think about it, there are real people here that are involved in this case. People who love this woman, not even in the past tense. They love this woman who is missing now. What are they going through? How are they dealing with this day in and day out? I don't think any of them anticipated that 3 weeks out they'd still be here waiting and wondering, hoping for that one big break in the case. So we'll be talking with Sarah Krebs coming up. We're also going to talk about nutrition coming up. We talked a little bit about it yesterday. That really blockbuster interview on 60 Minutes with Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and the former chairman of the FDA, talking about how they're on the same page when it comes to these ultra processed foods and the additives in our foods. We're going to be talking about that coming up. But let's do some housekeeping. Beth Ann Long joining us. She's our producer today. Danielle Mason is joining us today, also as our engineer. She's here every single day, pressing all the right buttons. We're on YouTube. Beth Ann, where can people find us on YouTube?
They can find our channel at 760 WJR.
All right, 760 WJR. The fam had a good time yesterday watching our show on YouTube. So
that's cute.
yeah, a new thing, a new toy for them to play with on YouTube. So, all right, if you miss an interview that we have, and we're not just talking about JR Afternoon, any time of day, sports wrap or first thing in the morning with our morning crew, you can go to WJR.com. The interviews are available free. Wherever you get your podcasts, you can find WJR on the Apple app or Google Play stores, and you can take us wherever you go. We live stream, access to the podcasts, original articles, and more. It's all served up free wherever you go. So all you have to do is go to WJR.com. We have a digital team that works pretty hard every day, putting up the material that you can access and easily access it and actually find stuff on our website. We really work hard on that, and a digital team works really hard on that. So today, hopefully if you don't quite hear all of our interviews, please check it out, WJR.com. Beth Ann and Danielle, we have ladies figure skating this afternoon, correct, at the Olympics.
Oh, yeah.
And as it started, Danielle,
I saw a girl out there. I don't know if she was I wasn't looking.
She's not
for
the
long.
Zamboni driver or something.
I
is
don't
she?
maybe she was. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know where we're at yet. I haven't looked up long enough.
All right. Well, we're gonna be dipping in on that or keeping an eye on that for you and bringing you actually we can bring you really some expert commentary. Beth Ann, you figure skated for how long in your life?
8 years.
From how old were you when you did this?
I think I started when I was 6.
And why did you pick figure skating as a sport?
Well, my brothers were hockey players, so I was already at the ice rink anyways, every single day. So
An ice rink rat, right?
I was an ice rink rat. I actually had sweatshirts that said that as a kid.
Really?
I did. So it was just like the obvious choice.
So you have older brothers?
I have 2 older brothers, yeah.
So do I. I'm the youngest of 3, and I have 2 older brothers. We need to start a support group because there's something,
There's something special about it.
Yes, there is something special when you grow up with 2 older brothers. I had a news director one time say someone was harassing me about something in the newsroom, and he turned to the others and he said, "Oh, nothing phases her. She grew up with 2 older brothers," and it's true. Your capacity to tolerate nonsense is pretty good, isn't it, Beth Ann?
It is. I have a really thick skin. I really nothing phases me.
Yeah, I know. It prepares you for life when you have 2 older brothers. So what is it about figure skating that is so that just has us glued to the TV most of the time?
I think it's just the stuff that you just don't think is possible that people can do while
Yeah.
they're skating, and people just wonder what it takes to do it.
You know what? I can't even walk across the ice. I can't imagine what it would be like skating on it, much less doing, some of the jumps and throws that they do. All right, we're going to keep an eye on that all afternoon. When we come back, like I said, we're going to take a look inside the Nancy Guthrie case from the perspective of a family, from someone who knows what's happening behind the scenes in terms of a missing person case. Stay with us here. You're listening to JR Afternoon.
Hear that? That's Mike. He took ZQL Pure Z's, so now he's sleeping soundly on a Sunday night. ZQL Pure Z's are fast-acting melatonin gummies with a complementary botanical blend to help Mike get the sleep he needs to wake up refreshed and ready to conquer Monday.
Let's do this Monday.
ZQL Pure Z's, just for sleep. Really great sleep. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Use as directed.
With the new IHOP value menu, $6 is all it takes to go to your happy place, where stacks of pancakes with bacon and eggs are just $6 every day. French toast, sausage, and eggs are, you guessed it, $6. And fluffy omelets come with a side of pancakes and only cost $6. Go to your happy plates every day at IHOP. $7 in some locations. Available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
Call us or text us. The number's the same. 1-800-859-0957. 1-800-859-0WJR. Powered by Michigan Auto Law. Auto Accident Attorneys. Visit autolaw.com. That's autolaw.com.
Well, it's wintertime out there, and this is the time of year we get some very specific emails at theinsideoutsideguys.com. Like, why can't I keep my home warm?
Or why are my windows full of condensation? Ken and I have answers to all of those things, and most of them are found in the experts that we refer to people.
We'll give you advice, but if the advice doesn't help, we have great professionals at the Inside Outside Guys, no matter what time of year it is. For housing information you can trust, go to theinsideoutsideguys.com.
Sponsored by Calculus Foundation Repair and Waterproofing.
It's Rich Piccarelli, owner of Calculus Foundation Repair and Waterproofing. With over 30 years of experience in fixing foundations across Metro Detroit, I know what it takes to keep your home solid and dry. We are local, affordable, and professional, fully licensed and insured. Whether it's helical pier installation, interior or exterior waterproofing, crawl space repair, wall bracing, or crack injections, Calculus has the right solution for you. For all your foundation issues, schedule today at calculusfoundation.com. That's calculusfoundation.com. A strong foundation starts with Calculus.
WJR invites you to catch SUFs playing the Fisher Theater April 14th through the 26th. Behind every powerful woman are more powerful women. Direct from Broadway comes the acclaimed Tony Award-winning musical SUFs, about the brilliant, passionate, and funny American women who fought tirelessly for the right to vote. Win tickets. Enter keyword SUFS, S-U-F-F-S, to 800-859-0957. Official rules at WJR.com. Tickets available for purchase at us.atgtickets.com.
WJR Traffic and Weather First.
This report is sponsored by Pro-Life Across America.
Hi, I'm Angie. Did you know a billboard can save a baby's life? It's true. You can make a difference by helping us spread the pro-life message to reach those who are struggling with an unplanned pregnancy. Please make a gift today. Visit prolifeacrossamerica.org.
JR Traffic and Weather First is sponsored by Weather Seal Home Improvements. This year, don't just get a tax refund, upgrade it. Turn your refund into a bigger return with a brand new roof from Weather Seal Home Improvements. Right now, they'll add an extra $1,000 to your refund toward your new roof. That's a smart deal. Book today at weathersealhomeimprovements.net. That's weathersealhomeimprovements.net. Some moving road work on I-94 eastbound between Shane Street and 8 Mile. That should wrap up by 3 p.m. Another construction project on the Lodge southbound between McNichols and Wyoming. That's scheduled until 2:30 this afternoon. And repairs continue along 9 Mile westbound at I-94. That's until 3 p.m. Friday. Now, WJR Weather First from the Weather Channel. Here's your forecast.
Areas of fog force here as we head through the rest of our morning. Otherwise cloudy and cooler today, middle to upper 40s. Rain tonight, upper 30s. Rain Wednesday, mainly through the morning. Milder highs tomorrow, mid-50s. Cloudy, mid-40s Thursday. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ken Boone on 760 WJR, where Michigan comes to talk.
Paul W. Smith delivers powerhouse interviews, real-time insight, and the sharp commentary listeners count on. Paul is smart, fast, and always ahead of the curve. Focus, noon till 2 on 760 WJR.
So Nancy Guthrie's family members, including her adult children and their spouses, are not suspects in the 84-year-old's disappearance. This is according to the sheriff in Tucson. Also, we found out today, just a short time ago, that the unknown male DNA profile on a glove found 2 miles from the home of Nancy Guthrie, it's been run through FBI's DNA database. It did not result in any matches. So we wanted to talk more about what it's like for families who are going through the agony of waiting for word on a loved one who's missing, families who are swept up in these high-profile cases. We're watching this kidnapping case of Nancy Guthrie unfold in Tucson. Behind that crime, though, there's a family in turmoil. Someone who's dedicated her career to helping those families, helping find the lost, is Sarah Krebs, former inspector and chief diversity, equity, and inclusion officer for the Michigan State Police, also the founder and president of Missing in Michigan. Welcome to WJR, Sarah. Glad you could join us today.
Thanks, Marie. Thanks for having me.
Now, even though we understand you're not working the Guthrie case, we know that, but you have a pretty good idea of what life might be like for the family right now. Can you take us inside and tell us what the family is going through? How are they navigating this, this fear that they have, and then trying to deal with the media, trying to deal with law enforcement? What is that like, juggling all that?
I mean, this is the worst case scenario. Not only is Nancy's an elderly woman, she's 84 years old, but she is the daughter of an international celebrity. And on top of it, this is a kidnapping, which is really in missing persons investigations rare, and especially rare for an elderly person to be involved. So I can't imagine how much turmoil the Guthrie family is going through right now.
What was it like when I know you worked on some high profile cases here in Michigan. The one that I know I've interviewed you about several times in the past was the Paige Rankowski missing persons case. The woman who was seen by the side of a freeway and then was missing and still remains missing to this day.
To this day, yeah.
Yeah, and so you had to deal with the family in that case. What are the kinds of questions that they're asking law enforcement? Are they angry with law enforcement? Do they want to cooperate? What is that like?
This is a club that no family wants to join, and there's really not a guidebook on how to navigate it, which can be extremely frustrating for the families. Just like you said, navigating law enforcement, navigating the media, navigating the public. In the Guthrie case, because of the fact that, in the beginning stages, I'm guessing that the Pima County Sheriff's Department did not expect this to be a kidnapping. And it was probably handled like most disappearances of elderly people. It was probably handled as a dementia walkaway. And that can be very frustrating because of the fact that they found out later that they had a crime scene that was probably not anticipated in the beginning. And, I guess we should kind of give the law enforcement agency some grace on that this was very unexpected, that this case ended up being a kidnapping case. And the fact that it is going on its third week, which is very strange in kidnapping cases. Usually they resolve themselves, within a couple of hours to a couple of days. I have never worked a case this long. So I'm thinking about, not only the Guthrie family, but that law enforcement agency and what they're going through. But definitely the family, they have to just be in absolute turmoil. And I'm so happy to see that the sheriff cleared the family.
Yeah.
Because to also have, that pressing, media on them that they are suspects, and from the public, that must have been even worse to see themselves on the news, so I can't even imagine what they're going through, and I hope that they have all the support in the world.
Yeah, absolutely. And in fact, when you talk about when this case when it first broke in the media, I remember seeing, it was a Sunday night, I remember seeing the first news bulletin saying that this woman was missing. It was Savannah Guthrie's mother. She was missing, and you saw that she's 84 years old. And immediately I thought, oh, she probably wandered off. I hope they find her. That's the first thing I thought of. And in fact, that's how the case was presented. But by the next day, the next morning, the police came out and said, nope, this is not a wandering person. This person had all of her faculties. She wasn't very mobile, but her mind was all sharp, and she is not she didn't just suddenly walk away. So something bad happened here.
And that's so important in a law enforcement investigation, is to really trust the family. They know that person best. And my first thought, too, even with the 25 years of investigation, my first thought was that she was a walkaway, which is very common at that age. But I'm so happy to hear that they did trust the family and took the investigation in the right direction. And obviously they found that they did have a crime scene. But it's very important in those investigations to listen to the family.
We truly hope that in this case, this gets resolved in a positive manner. But if I can talk to you just very quickly about the Paige Renkowski story. Just last week, Kevin Dietz and I did a whole hour special on the Oakland County child killings, 50 years. Those cases remain unsolved. Those family members, the parents, they're gone to their graves without knowing what happened to their children. Tell our listeners what it's like for those families. I know you've worked with Paige's family.
Yes, artist Paige's mom was one of my directors at Missing in Michigan for many years, and I was very close with her. And it was really hard for me to see her pass on without answers. She's so lucky to have such strong women, though, beneath her. Her daughters, Missy and Tammy, and her niece Nikki, have really taken up the torch and are continuing in Artist's legacy to find Paige. And it's so comforting to know, they've really grown up with this their entire lives, especially Nikki. Paige's niece only knows her aunt as a missing person. But it's amazing to see them show up at every Missing Michigan event and to really carry on Artist's mission to find Paige. And they definitely never forget, and that's one thing in these missing persons investigations, that ambiguous loss that they suffer through, it never goes away. We're just all waiting for answers on those cases.
I always think it's like a double loss. You've lost the person, but you've also lost these answers as to what happened to your loved one. Sarah, how can people get a hold of Missing in Michigan?
So Missing in Michigan was present online. We're on social media, on Facebook, on Instagram. You can find us at missinginmichigan.com or .org. And we have an annual event every year at Madonna University. This year it's going to be on May 9th. This year will be a private event for family members only. But we're always looking for volunteers to help us online. We have a very large base of followers on our social media, and that's really what you need in these missing persons cases. People that are invested and are sharing the information online, because that's how these cases get solved, when people see that they're missing.
Right. Well, in the case of Nancy Guthrie, I can't imagine a case that's gotten more attention than this one. Are you surprised by the amount of attention this has received?
Not really. If you think about it, Nancy Guthrie is all of our moms. And if our mom went missing, I think we would, that's really what this is. We have a nation of people that are caring for Savannah and feeling like we lost our own mom in this. And, the entire nation is waiting, just like Savannah's family. I guess it's not surprising that we do have a very caring nation.
That's the first thing I thought of when I heard of this case, and that was, oh my gosh, what if that had been my mother? I that's all I could think about was what if I'd been, or my mother-in-law. The words just don't even come to you. Sarah Krebs, founder and former inspector and chief diversity and equity and inclusion officer, Michigan State Police, and founder and president of Missing in Michigan. MissingInMichigan.org is where you can get a hold of the organization for more information. Sarah, always a pleasure to talk with you. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Marie. Thanks for having me. Have a good day.
And when we come back, we'll talk about, is this the end of Captain Crunch? Well, those fat foods and ultra-processed foods do taste good, but they might be reaching the end of the line. We'll have more on that when we come back here on JR Afternoon.
LifeLock, how can I help?
The IRS said I filed my return,
But I haven't.
1 in 4 tax-paying Americans has paid the price of identity fraud.
What do I do?
My refund, though.
I'm freaking out.
Don't worry, I can fix this.
LifeLock fixes identity theft guaranteed and gets your money back with up to $3 million in coverage.
I'm so relieved.
No problem. I'll be with you every step of the way.
1 in 4 was a fraud-paying American. Not anymore. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
This month, Pure Talk is honoring Jackson and Lincoln by offering unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data for just $25 a month. Meanwhile, Big Wireless is honoring Ben Franklin by charging families hundreds of dollars for the same 5G coverage. What? Franklin wasn't even a president. Hang on to those Benjamins. Dial pound 250, say micro, and save 50% off your first month. That's pound 250, micro, to switch to an American wireless company that's truly unprecedented. Pure Talk.
Are you concerned about outliving your money? If so, tune in to Money Talks with Joseph Uplegger, Saturdays at 5 p.m. Joe will help make sure you get the retirement you deserve, Saturdays at 5 p.m. right here on WJR 760.
Fox News, I'm John Saucier. We're into week 3 of the search for 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie, who was abducted from her home in Tucson, Arizona in the early morning hours of February 1st. Pima County Sheriff Chris Nano speaking in an exclusive interview with Fox about DNA tests on a glove found near the scene.
The news now, I think, is we had heard this morning that, of course, the DNA on the glove that was found 2 miles away was submitted for CODIS. And I just heard that CODIS had no hits.
Investigators have been asking the public for tips on a masked individual who was spotted on her door cam shortly before she went missing. Democratic Maryland Governor Wes Moore signing a bill that bans official cooperation between local law enforcement and federal immigration and customs enforcement.
By funding, ICE is the 13th largest military force in the world.
The governor signing 2 emergency bills into law. America's listening to Fox News.
WJR traffic and weather first.
Some moving road work on I-94 eastbound between Shane Street and 8 Mile. That should wrap up by 3 p.m. 14 Mile westbound closed for construction between Welch Drive and Novi Road, 6 a.m. until 8 p.m. That's daily through early March. And we have some repairs continuing along 9 Mile westbound at I-94. That's until 3 p.m. Friday. Now WJR weather first from the Weather Channel. Overcast today, a high of 46. Foggy with periods of rain later tonight. A low of 37. Morning rain for Wednesday with a high of 55. I'm Rich Luzensky, WJR Traffic and Weather First.
Clark Construction Company is one of the premier construction managers in Michigan for K-12 education. They assist districts with bond planning, facility assessments, and bond campaigns. They manage the construction to help districts fulfill their promise to their community till the school doors open on time for fall, all while keeping students and staff's safety top of mind. Clark's breadth of capabilities ensures that they can meet their clients' needs every time on every front. Details at clarkcc.com.
Looking for a winter wonderland? Come to Gaylord, Michigan, where the snow sparkles and the adventures await. From skiing and snowmobiling to winter rafting and snowshoeing. It's miles of trails, picturesque views, and friendly small-town alpine village charm make it a perfect place for your winter escape. Find out more at GaylordMichigan.net.
Let's breathe. Deep inhale. Extend your spine. Exhale very slowly. Find mental health resources at loveyourmindtoday.org. This message is brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ed Council.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly.
Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
You still thinking job change in the new year?
Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy.
IT?
Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI.
That's what I did.
Really? How?
Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up.
Sweet. Are classes online or on campus?
Both.
Wow, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu, an elite CompTIA certification partner.
Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
The American Red Cross is facing a severe blood shortage. Donors are needed now to make sure patients across the country receive life-saving care. There's no time to wait. Make an appointment today to give blood by using the Blood Donor app, visiting redcrossblood.org, or calling 1-800-RED-CROSS to schedule your donation.
Hi friends, Bill Golling here, and with the new Golling Chevrolet on Michigan Avenue in Wayne and Golling Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram on Mack in Detroit joining the family, now even more of you can see and experience the Golling difference, especially during this month's President's Day sales events. Those dealerships join Golling Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram locations in Bloomfield Hills, Chelsea, Roseville, Golling Alfa Romeo Fiat in Birmingham, Golling Buick GMC in Lake Orion, Golling Toyota in Warren, Golling Kia in Madison Heights, or you can always find us at golling.com.
Metro Detroit, you know the voices that keep our region moving. From the morning headlines to your drive home, 760 WJR is always in your corner. Now it's time to make your voice heard. Help us crown the best in the biz. We're asking for your vote for Paul W. Smith and Ryan Ermanni in our magazine's Best of Detroit 2026. Whether it's Paul's legendary insight on Focus or Ryan's unfiltered energy on JR Afternoon, they bring the stories that matter most to Michigan. Head to ourdetroit.com and cast your ballot today. Let's show the D why WJR is the great voice of the Great Lakes. That's ourdetroit.com. Vote now.
Wake up tomorrow with JR Morning with Chris Renwick, Lloyd Jackson, and Jamie Edmonds on 760 WJR. Right now, it's JR Afternoon with Ryan Ermanni with Marie Osborne sitting in.
Is it the end of the line for Lucky Charms and other sugary cereals and a long list of other ultra-processed foods? Our next guest sure hopes so. And on this topic, by the way, we're going to be asking for your calls coming up in the next segment, 1-800-859-0957, 1-800-859-0957. What are your thoughts on ultra-processed foods? Do you keep them in your house? Do you let your kids eat them? Are you making an effort to get them out of your life? 1-800-859-0957. We're going to be taking your calls coming up. Our next guest is Gerald Mende. He's the CEO of Nourish Science, adjunct professor of nutrition at Harvard, the Chan School of Public Health. Gerald, we're so glad you could join us today.
Well, thank you, Marie. It's a pleasure to join you.
So talk to us about how much prepackaged foods Americans eat.
Well, we eat a lot. Indeed, more than half of the food now on our grocery shelves are these ultra-processed foods, these man-made concoctions that we can't make in our kitchens, but now line our grocery shelves. And the problem is worse with our children, where 60 to 70% of the food they eat are these ultra-processed foods. And here's why it's a problem. America now has the shortest lifespan of any of the wealthy countries in the world, and that's because of these food-caused chronic diseases. But even more alarming, a third of our children have a food-caused chronic disease. That should never happen, and we need to do something about it.
So we're going to talk about what to do about it coming up, because it has something to do with our policy, food policy in this country and how our government operates. But you say that half of the food in our grocery store shelves, over half of it, is ultra processed, meaning we can't make it at home. So I'm a little curious about that. I am a cook. I like to cook at home. I cook a lot. So when I think of like crackers, for instance, right? I can go to the store and buy crackers, but they could fall in this category of ultra processed unless you're very careful about reading the label. And I could make crackers at home, but darn it, it would take so long. So part of the problem here is convenience, right? We're in a busy life, busy lifestyles. And part of it is that these foods are delicious, cheap, and easy, right?
Absolutely. Well, let me give you to let you think about it this way. I think it'd be helpful for you, given your interest, and for your listeners. So the way I think about it is there's a North Star for food design that consumers expect. And you just named a few. There are 4 points on the star. Taste, cost, convenience are 3, and the 4th is health. We expect our food to be delicious, to be affordable, to be convenient, and to support our health. We should thrive when we eat it. Now, here's the problem. The marketplace works well on taste, cost, and convenience. It's sending the right signals to the companies. Indeed, an hour after you get home and make a food purchase, you know whether it meets your expectations for taste, cost, and convenience. But there's no way to tell with health. You think the food, you assume. In fact, the law requires that the food doesn't make us sick, but you won't know for years whether it's causing diabetes, obesity, heart disease. And so what happens is companies, as I said, are getting the feedback on taste, cost, convenience. They're doing that, but their bottom line is they want to make bigger profits. And so they can't really cheat on taste, cost, and convenience. But what they figured out is they don't need to meet this health criteria because we can't tell. And they've substituted their profits for our health. They're designing foods that are hyper palatable, calorically dense, designed to be overeaten, and they're making us sick. That's against the law.
Part of the problem here is the food subsidies that our government has been undertaking for many years now. So we subsidize, I think, corn production and soy production, right? And when we're talking about those two things, we're not talking about like the corn that I buy at the store at the fruit market. We're talking about this corn that is grown and processed just to be turned into, if I'm not mistaken, sugar or sugar byproducts for our food. And the same with soy. This is not like, the little umami beans that, I know my grandson loves them. That's not what we're talking about here. It's the way that it's grown is absolutely for a big food business. It's all in the production of these ultra processed foods. But our government is subsidizing that.
Well, Marie, it does, but not in the way I think people are thinking. I think when people talk about that, it's a bit dated. So I had the privilege of working at the U.S. Department of Agriculture for 8 years. And indeed, when I joined, I thought what you just said, but it turns out we've replaced most of the subsidies with crop insurance. And the real issue there is we need to manage our farmers' risk. In America, less than 2% of us grow all our food. We want it to be cheap. In fact, Americans spend less of our income on food, about 10% than any other country. And so, if we're going to have that few of us be our farmers, want to keep the price down, we need to manage their risk, especially at a time of climate change where your entire crop. So there was one subsidies. They've mostly been phased out. They're now crop insurance. But your broader point is absolutely correct. The government is creating a system that enables companies to use these ingredients to create these ultra processed foods. They're coming up with cheaper ingredients that they're manipulating in a way that makes these foods hyper palatable, rapidly digestible, and they're making us sick. And that's what needs to stop.
So in your mind, how can we change this? I mean, I can't imagine how we're going to turn this ship around, but it's got to start somewhere. Do you think that, the Trump administration has been touting this Make America Healthy Again agenda, and they've been touting it over and over again. Do you think the Trump administration is doing enough, or at least signaling that they're going to do enough to turn this around?
Well, they've off to a decent start, especially this Make America Healthy with food. Indeed, RFK Jr. deserves enormous credit. I've been working on these issues for most of my career. I've held senior positions, and Republican and Democratic administrations at agencies such as the Food and Drug Administration and the Department of Agriculture working on these matters. And throughout that time, it really just hasn't been a political priority. It sometimes does receive more attention. I was honored to work on these issues at the Department of Agriculture with Michelle Obama as part of her Let's Move campaign that focused on one key piece, childhood obesity. But this broader issue that our food companies have lost sight of their mission. Instead of making food we would thrive on, they're making food that makes us sick. That hasn't been a political priority. And RFK Jr. deserves enormous credit for changing.
Yeah.
That it is now a political. We're talking about it. You didn't call me a couple of years ago. It's now something everyone's talking about. So they deserve enormous credit for that. They deserve enormous credit that the first action they took is they put out a report that identified that the root cause of the problem was that our food industry and these ultra-processed foods, that hadn't been done before. And they just put out dietary guidelines that said we need to eat less processed food. Again, something that had not been said.
Gerald Mand, I'm sorry, our time is up. And you're right. We didn't call you 2 years ago, but we're calling you now. And I have a feeling this is just the beginning. There's going to be a lot more conversation about this. Gerald Mand is the CEO of Nourish Science and adjunct professor of nutrition at Harvard Chan School of Public Health. Thank you for your valuable time today. We appreciate it. And when we come back, we're going to be wanting to hear from you right here on JR Afternoon.
This is Marie Osborne, tax partner at Metro Detroit accounting firm Schindel Rock, with our weekly tax tip for business owners. The special 20% deduction for many qualified businesses was set to expire at the end of 2025, but it has now been made permanent, and income limits were expanded, opening the door for more owners to qualify. If your business is a pass-through entity, make sure you're taking advantage of this deduction. Schindel Rock helps Metro Detroit businesses solve complex tax matters. Learn more at SchindelRock.com.
At Average Al's Furniture Warehouse, our sofas have cushions, our tables have 4 legs, our recliners recline. So come on by for a perfectly average experience.
Cumulus Digital doesn't stop at average. We work with more than 4,000 local businesses every month, delivering campaigns that beat industry averages by over 25%, driving real, measurable growth. You're not average. Your results shouldn't be either. Visit cumulusdigital.com to start outperforming today.
Westwood One Sports presents this special update on the 2026 Winter Games. 29 women are competing in the figure skating short program, which is underway. The 3 Americans will all skate in the final 6. Alyssa Liu, the reigning world champ, Amber Glenn, and 18-year-old Isabeau Levito. They're also known as the Blade Angels. The U.S. has not medaled in this event in 20 years. Also 3 Americans competing in the men's free ski big air final in the heavy snow. Mac Forehand was first in qualifying. Also Connor Ralph and Troy Podmilsack for Team USA. 3 jumps for each, and the top 2 scores will be combined. Curling, the U.S. men lead Italy 2-2 in the 5th end. That was after losing to China earlier today. They are 4-3 in round-robin action. The U.S. women bounce back with a 10-3 win over Denmark. They're 5-2 in the round-robin. With this Winter Games update, I'm Brad Heller, Westwood One Sports.
You've still got it, but your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Time is valuable. That's why Lowe's Blueprint Takeoffs turn blueprints into quotes faster. Bring us your plans, and we'll generate itemized material lists to make quoting easier so you can get back to building. Plus, at the Lowe's Pro Desk, you get access to thousands of building materials not sold in store. And when your order's ready, we'll deliver everything to the job site. Improving is easy at Lowe's.
You've still got it, but your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need.
WJR Traffic and Weather first.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com.
Hi, I'm Kyle from Blindster. I started Blindster in my garage back in 2010. Since then, we've sold millions of custom blinds, shades, and shutters nationwide. Our blinds are DIY friendly, guaranteed to fit, and always cheaper than big box stores. Blindster.com.
WJR Traffic and Weather First, sponsored by Lombardo Apartments. Looking for luxury living without the stairs? Welcome to Everly of Macomb. Beautiful ranch-style luxury apartments designed for comfort, convenience, and style. Visit everlyofmacomb.com for more information on our specials, including 1 month free rent on a new lease. Some moving road work on I-94 eastbound still between Shane Street and 8 Mile. That should wrap up in about 15 minutes or so. 14 Mile westbound closed for construction between Welch Drive and Novi Road, 6 a.m. until 8 p.m. daily through early March. And repairs continue along 9 Mile westbound at I-94. That's going to be with us until 3 p.m. Friday. Now, WJR Weather First from the Weather Channel. Here's your forecast.
Rain in tonight, fog this morning, otherwise cloudy and cooler for us here today, middle to upper 40s. Rain tonight, upper 30s. Rain Wednesday, mainly through the first half of the day. Highs tomorrow, mid-50s. Cloudy, mid-40s Thursday. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ken Boone on 760 WJR, where Michigan comes to talk.
Call us or text us. The number's the same. 1-800-859-0957. 1-800-859-0WJR. Powered by Michigan Auto Law, Auto Accident Attorneys. Visit autolaw.com. That's autolaw.com.
Okay, we are back. So we were talking yesterday about this appearance on Sunday night on CBS's 60 Minutes by the Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and the former FDA Commissioner Dr. David Kessler. These are two people who agree on very, very little, but they do agree on this, and that is that we're consuming too many ultra-processed foods. Here's what Kessler had to say about the problem.
Over the last 40 years, the United States has been exposed to something that our biology was never intended to handle. Energy-dense, highly palatable, rapidly absorbable, ultra-processed foods that have altered our metabolism and have resulted in the greatest increase in chronic disease in our history. Type 2 diabetes, prediabetes, hypertension, abnormal lipids, fatty liver, heart attacks, stroke, heart failure from our food.
I want to hear from you. 1-800-859-0957. That's 1-800-859-0WJR. Are you more cognizant now of what you're buying at the grocery store? Do you read labels? Do you understand what's on those labels? Are you making an effort to get rid of ultra-processed foods in your diet? And what do you think the government has to do in terms of a policy, or should they do anything? But should there be a policy change or shift in this country that will make this food less accessible and certainly have less of it on our store shelves? Our last guest, Gerald Mand, from the CEO of Nourish Science, talking about better than half. Go walk in the grocery store, better than half of what you're going to see there is ultra-processed food. Now, in 1958, the government passed the GRAS exemption, so that means food companies can verify the safety of their own ingredients, not the government. The government doesn't see that at all. So that's when this free-for-all started, to add so much sugar and other things to our food. Here's what Robert F. Kennedy Jr. had to say about it.
That loophole was hijacked by the industry, and it was used to add thousands upon thousands of new ingredients into our food supply. In Europe, there's only 400 legal ingredients. This agency does not know how many ingredients there are in American food. The estimates are between 4,000 and 10,000. We have no idea what they are. There is no way for any American to know if a product is safe, if it is ultra-processed.
All right. So again, he said, in Europe, there are 400 ingredients that are allowed to be put into food, right? 400. In this country, they don't even know. They're guessing between 4,000 to 10,000 different ingredients. And the government doesn't even know. The FDA doesn't know. they just don't know what's in our food. And it's all because of this exemption, the grass exemption. I want to know and hear from you. What are you doing in your house to help curb the use of ultra processed foods? 1-800-859-0957, 1-800-859-WJR. Let's head out to George in Battle Creek. Hi, George.
Hi, Marie.
You're calling us from Battle Creek, Cereal City.
Yes, and I love the cereal. I don't want the government telling me what I can eat, what I cannot eat. They've tried to rule our lives for too long with these shut them off cars at the stoplight, which are now going to be outlawed by Trump, and all kinds of other crap.
But when you hear that we're allowed to have thousands of ingredients that our government, due to this exemption, this grass exemption that was passed in 1968, that we allow thousands of ingredients to be put into our food, many of which, there's no oversight on and the government doesn't know what it is, and the rest of us can't even pronounce. And doctors are telling us that this is literally changing our physiology. Do you think that deserves a second look by our government?
The government can do all the looking they want, but just don't come up with a regulation that I can't have colorful cereal or sweet cereal. For years, they said I shouldn't eat eggs. I grew up on a farm eating eggs, cream, and milk, and I'm 80 years old almost, and, it didn't kill me.
Okay, George from Battle Creek, what's your favorite cereal?
Oh, I like Raisin Bran.
Yeah, Raisin Bran's pretty good, but you know what? It's got additives, George. It's got additives.
It sure does. It's got fiber, too.
It has some fiber, it has a lot of sugar. George, thanks for the call. We really appreciate you joining us today.
Bye-bye.
Calling us from Cereal City, George and Battle Creek. Let's head out to Brighton and say hello to Ken. Hi, Ken.
Hey, Marie, how you doing?
I'm great.
I always like listening to your voice. It's awesome.
Thank you.
Listen, I've been fortunate. Almost 40 years ago, I married an Armenian lady, and it's basically the Mediterranean diet for the most part. What I think is number one, like the previous caller, no, I don't want the government telling me or anybody else what to eat, when to eat it, and all that stuff. Taxing something, no. To take it away, no. Education, yes. Massive education on video, TV, radio, whatever, to educate people who really don't know what's in the foods. And I said something to my wife some time ago. It basically said that the food tastes so good. How come fast food tastes so good? How come restaurant? I said there's something in it that's addictive, monosodium glutamate or whatever else they have put in it. Who knows? So yeah, there's something there, and we're all suffering from it. Me, I dropped a ton of weight and I kept it off. I would suggest unless you're vegan, and even the vegan people, the Mediterranean diet is not that bad.
You're preaching to the choir here. I'm first generation American. I'm Italian. My parents are from Italy, my family from Italy. So of course we eat the Mediterranean diet, and I always have, and I make a lot of food at home. We don't do a lot of processed foods, but we do some. But I agree with you wholeheartedly, but I see part of the problem is, as we heard our guests say, more than half of the food in the grocery store is ultra processed. So if I make the decision not to buy that food, my choices are limited at the grocery store. My choices are limited. So we have to keep that in mind. Ken, thanks so much for the call. We really appreciate
Absolutely,
it.
Marie.
And
all right.
double thumbs up on the Mediterranean diet. That's for sure.
All right. You take care.
Robert is, you know what? I'm not going to go to Robert. But I will after the break. Stay with us. We'd love to hear from you. 1-800-859-0957. We're talking about ultra processed foods. So far, our couple of callers have said, listen, we don't need the government telling us what food to eat. My question is, should we have some oversight in this area, though? We're going to take more of your calls when we come back here on JR Afternoon.
As a mom, Comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks vapors in an easy-to-apply stick, and it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapo Stick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks vapors when you need more comfort for yourself. Use as directed.
This is the story of the one. As the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, she knows the only thing more important than having the right safety gear is having it there when you need it. That's why she partners with Grainger for auto reordering, so her team members can count on her to have cut-resistant gloves on hand, and each shift can run safely and efficiently. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
When Michigan's underground systems fail, everyone feels it. Old water and stormwater pipes mean flooded streets, dirty water, and damaged roads. These systems protect our homes, our schools, and the places we work, but many were built generations ago and can't keep up today. If we don't fix what's underground, we risk what's above ground. Safety, jobs, and our future. A strong Michigan depends on strong infrastructure starting below the surface. It's time to invest before small problems become big disasters. Learn more by visiting the website thinkmita.org.
Tonight, someone in our community will need a warm bed. Tomorrow, they'll need a meal. You can help make both possible. The Salvation Army's Bed and Bread program provides over 71,000 nights of shelter and more than 1.6 million meals every year because people like you care. Donate today by texting BREAD to 24365. That's BREAD to 24365. Join the club that's here for good.
This is the great voice of the Great Lakes, 760 WJR, Detroit, a Cumulus media station.
It didn't get a hit. I'm Chris Foster of Fox News. DNA on a glove found during the search for Today Show co-host Savannah Guthrie's mother, Nancy, does not match anything in the FBI's national database. Pima County, Arizona Sheriff Chris Nanos tells Fox.
That's what happens. You chase leads until you either make it or eliminate it.
He says he thinks someone out there knows something about who took Nancy Guthrie 17 days ago.
That's the person we want to have call us.
Both sides report progress in U.S.-Iran nuclear talks, round 2 today in Switzerland.
Iran's foreign minister said his country reached an understanding on made principles with the U.S. as Iranian state media reports the talks entered the technical phase with conversations on uranium enrichment and stockpile levels. U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner participated in the indirect negotiations that were led by Omani officials, with Iran's foreign minister leading the opposing delegations.
Fox's Trey Yanks. Early voting starts today in a March 3rd Senate primary in Texas. Republican incumbent John Cornyn's facing a challenge from State Attorney General Ken Paxton and Congressman Wesley Hunt. President Trump says he likes all three, and Governor Greg Abbott says he won't be endorsing anyone either.
These elections are going to determine what the future of Texas is going to be. There are so many people in this state who want to see maybe one thing more than anything else, and that is to keep Texas.
The top polling Democrats in the race are Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett and State Senator James Tallarico. He was supposed to be on the CBS Late Show last night.
During his monologue, Stephen Colbert said CBS lawyers prevented him from airing an interview with James Tallarico, and he claims they did that because of pressure from the Trump administration.
Fox's Nate Foy. The FCC has an equal time rule for political candidates that has not in the past been applied to news interviews on talk shows. That interview is available online. U.S. Capitol Police says its officers this afternoon arrested a person with what appears to be a gun in front of the Capitol. Congress is not in session this week. America's listening to Fox News.
WJR traffic and weather first.
We've got some slowdowns on I-696 eastbound from Orchard Lake Road to just past Franklin Road due to construction. Traffic is being funneled to the lodge due to that road closure. Some slowdowns on I-94 eastbound between I-75 and Connor Street, and I-696 westbound between I-75 and Lasser. We do have some construction reducing your roadway to just 3 lanes. Now, WJR weather first from the Weather Channel. Overcast today, a little bit of sunshine peeking in later in the afternoon. A high of 46, foggy with periods of rain later tonight. A low of 37, morning rain for Wednesday with a high of 55. I'm Rich Luzensky, WJR traffic and weather first.
The Mega Millions drawing comes on.
Tonight's winning numbers are...
You look at your ticket.
Whoa!
A little luck could go a long way.
Tuesday's Mega Millions jackpot is $395 million.
Are you a parent of a 2 to 8-year-old? Listen closely for an exciting offer, then head to abcmouse.com/radio to learn more. By now, you've probably heard of ABC Mouse.
ABC Mouse is like a little one-on-one teacher. It has helped her so much.
We're offering a promo at abcmouse.com/radio to try it for free for a month, then $14.99 per month until canceled. Go to abcmouse.com/radio to see this offer. That's abcmouse.com/radio. Actual ABC Mouse users compensate for their testimonials, sponsored by Age of Learning.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my site softer?
Can I make my site firmer?
Can we sleep cooler? Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. Enjoy personalized comfort for better sleep night after night. And now, during our President's Day sale, take 50% off our limited edition bed, plus free home delivery with any bed and base. Ends Monday. Only at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com.
Do you have an IRA or 401k? You want to think of this as being your money. But remember, you still have to pay taxes when you withdraw this money in retirement. And these taxes, well, they could be a lot higher than you know. Learn how you could reduce or potentially eliminate these taxes with a free retirement tax savings analysis. It's from the Brzezinski Group, a second-generation financial advisory firm right here in Metro Detroit. If you've saved at least $250,000, schedule your free analysis now by calling 800-641-3361. This free analysis could save you tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars in taxes in retirement. Call 800-641-3361. That's 800-641-3361. Investment advisory services offered only by duly registered individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC. Firm does not provide legal or tax advice.
Say hello to another great voice. This is JR Afternoon with Ryan Ermanni on 760 WJR with Marie Osborne sitting in.
So we were having a great conversation last hour. By the way, welcome into our second hour here on JR Afternoon. Ryan having a week off with his family. Hope he's having a great time. We know he is. Remember, you can always get any of our interviews. If you missed earlier in the show, we had an interview with former MSP officer Sarah Krebs, who worked many years of her career with missing persons cases. She was talking about the Savannah Guthrie's mother, Nancy Guthrie, the missing person case out in Tucson. Great conversation. If you miss any of those interviews, any time of the day here on WJR, just go to WJR.com. We're going to have those interviews for you in a podcast right there so you can listen in, and we're proud of it too. So go to WJR.com. You can catch any of our interviews in case you didn't catch them all if you're out running errands or whatever. We're talking about food additives and ultra-processed foods on Sunday night. Interesting, very interesting piece that they did on these ultra-processed foods. And we were the Health and Human Services Secretary, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., and the former FDA Commissioner, Dr. David Kessler, both appeared on the show. Both were interviewed. And of course, these two people don't agree on much when it comes to health policy, but they do agree on this. Here's what RFK, Robert Kennedy, had to say about the obesity rates in this country.
70% of Americans are either obese or overweight. And it's not because they got indolent or because we became lazy or because we suddenly developed giant appetites. It's because we're being given food that is low in nutrition and high in calories, and it's destroying our health. I see it when I go across the country.
And here's what Kessler had to say about these additives, in particular, starches and sweeteners.
They took starch, right? Those cheap, easy calories, and they converted those into a whole panoply of ingredients that it was able to reassemble. And those products are so rapidly absorbed in our system that they cause metabolic havoc. They target the brain reward circuits to keep us coming back for more. They trigger overeating. They deprive us of any sense of fullness. Those calories are not just empty, they're ending up in your liver. And that fat in your liver is going to migrate into other organs, and it's the cause of cardiometabolic disease.
How do you like that? So those additives, those starches, those sugars, they're causing metabolic havoc in our body. They're actually changing our physiology, who we are as humans, our bodies. And of course, it makes us, they're cheap, they're tasty, they taste great. That's why we want to eat them. And they're obviously not very good for us. We want to hear from you, 1-800-859-0957. Talk a little bit about food additives. What are you doing to curb food additives in your food? We've had listeners tell us they want the government to stay out of it. But Jeff joins us from Warren. Hi, Jeff.
How you doing?
Hi. So what are your thoughts about this? Are you reading labels more often than you did in the past?
Definitely. And Marie, just these past callers, they don't want the government telling them what to do, but it's common sense. I mean, who could be against wanting to be healthier? And these other countries don't allow this in their foods. It's just, with the obesity and diabetes and Parkinson's and all these different things, I don't know which ones are caused by that, but they're definitely up. And it's just, it's common sense.
The one that I always find alarming, Jeff, is the one with the colorectal cancer being diagnosed in younger and younger people. It used to be like 45 would be the benchmark year that you'd have to go get a colonoscopy. Now they're saying 40 for a lot of people. So, I mean, and we don't know. There's not been a direct correlation in this, but it leaves you to wondering about why those things are. And yeah, I mean, our listeners, they're saying, we don't want the government telling us what to eat. And, I have to agree with that. Nobody would want that. But should we not have the government surveying what is being put into our food sources? So, Jeff, thank you so much for the call. We really appreciate your time this afternoon. Let's head out to Robert in Detroit. Hi, Robert.
Hello, and thanks for taking my call. I just got a question because, all of this is, it brings a question to my mind. So this administration just cut a lot of regulations, kind of saying, giving permission for a lot of industry to just do what they want, including the food industry that's making these dangerous foods that your guest has described, that the things that can happen to people. So if they have given them the permission to do that, can't those companies say, well, you just cut the regulations. I don't care what you want me. I don't care what you don't want me to put in the food. I'm gonna put it in there anyway, and that's all there is to it because we don't have any regulations. Remember? Thank you. And can't they just tell the government to go kick rocks? I mean, they cut back worker safety. They say, you don't have to keep your workers safe, but we don't,
Well,
we don't want you putting dangerous stuff in the food.
When it comes to regulations, though, Robert, let's just make this straight. When it comes to regulations, we're not talking about, that's different than like how our food is manufactured. It's different from what these food additives are and the processing of the food and so on. What we're looking back to is back in 1958, this Grass Amendment was passed. And it's a loophole really, and it allows the food additives to go into our food without full government review. That was given up in 1958. So that's what a lot of people are saying that needs to change. We need to have some government oversight as to what can and cannot be put into our food. Robert, thank you so much for the call.
Yes, ma'am.
We really appreciate your time today. Jeanette is joining us from LaSalle. Hi, Jeanette.
Hi there.
Hi.
So I just want to say that since I've become aware of the garbage that's in our food, it takes me twice as long to grocery shop and it costs twice as much.
Yeah. Yeah.
My husband and I both have health issues, and the crap that is out there it's just unconscionable. It's not allowed in any other country. If you go to Canada, they're not allowed to put that garbage in their food.
Well,
why do we have it?
Right. So we heard the Robert F. Kennedy saying in Europe there are 400 ingredients that are allowed into the food. In this country, we don't really even know the number, but it's somewhere between 4 and 10,000 ingredients, and the government has no idea what those ingredients are. We don't know what those ingredients are. So when you say, and our previous guest said, more than half of the food in our grocery store is ultra processed. So Jeanette, I'm not surprised it's taken you longer to get through the grocery store. If you take half a minute to look at what you're eating, it's going to take you longer to get through the grocery store. This is a big problem. Jeanette, thank you so much for calling us today. We really appreciate that very, very good point. This is going to have to come from all of us. It's going to take all of us to change how we look at our food, how we look at the additives in our food. And really the change comes with us. All right, when we come back, we're going to remember a icon in our country in the civil rights movement. We'll have that when we come back here on JR Afternoon.
Hi, it's Paul W. here again for my friends at Victor's Home Solutions. The Michigan winter is especially hard on the roof of your home. Victor's recommends you keep an eye out for signs of winter roofing problems, icicles hanging from your gutters, uneven snowmelt on your roof, or even water stains on your ceiling. If you see any of these, don't wait. Call the roofing experts at Victor's Home Solutions. You see, unlike a lot of roofers in the area, Victor's doesn't shut down during the winter. They know your roof problems can't wait until spring. They can be at your home within 24 hours, do a free 21-point inspection on your roof, diagnose the issue, and recommend a solution. And if it is time for a new roof, their highly trained installation teams will install it perfectly the first time, clean up after themselves, and leave your home and yard nicer than how they found it. So if you see signs of winter roofing problems, don't wait. Set up your free no-obligation roof inspection and estimate today. 866-VICTORS. That's 866-VICTORS. Or online at victors.com.
Art lovers take note. Dumichel's February auctions showcase treasures from prominent Bloomfield Hills, Birmingham, and Grosse Pointe collections. Discover works by Andy Warhol, Asian carvings, estate jewelry, and mid-century modern and traditional furniture, pieces in rich history, craftsmanship, and value, whether you're a seasoned collector or just beginning your journey. Join online or in person February 19th and 20th with preview open now. Visit DUMOArt.com to learn more and bid. Dumichel's, your number one place to buy art in the Midwest.
Home sweet home, right? You're spending more time there, and you may even work from home. You check smoke detectors, furnace filters, and for carbon monoxide. But have you checked your radon levels? Radon is the leading cause of lung cancer behind smoking. Radon is an odorless radioactive gas present in all homes, and no family should be at risk when you can reduce your radon exposure. Test now, test regularly. Learn where to get a test kit at michigan.gov/radon. Sponsored by Eagle and MAB.
Dan Bongino returns.
It's real. You better produce something fast.
And he's not holding back.
Dan, that's backwards. No, I'm telling you the truth.
Hard truths and a bold perspective no one else can offer.
You may not hear this anywhere else. I'm always under the assumption that you're being played, we're being played. Man, this show continues to expand its footprint, and I love you guys for it.
It's the comeback everyone's been waiting for.
If there was ever a time, it is this one.
The Dan Bongino Show. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Call us or text us. The number's the same. 1-800-859-0957. 1-800-859-0WJR. Powered by Michigan Auto Law. Auto Accident Attorneys. Visit autolaw.com. That's autolaw.com. WJR invites you to catch Suffs, playing the Fisher Theater April 14th through the 26th. Behind every powerful woman are more powerful women. Direct from Broadway comes the acclaimed Tony Award-winning musical Suffs, about the brilliant, passionate, and funny American women who fought tirelessly for the right to vote. Win tickets. Enter keyword SUFFS, S-U-F-F-S, to 800-859-0957. Official rules at WJR.com. Tickets available for purchase at us.atgtickets.com.
WJR Traffic and Weather First. This report is sponsored by Blindster.com.
Hi, I'm Kyle from Blindster. I started Blindster in my garage back in 2010. Since then, we've sold millions of custom blinds, shades, and shutters nationwide. Our blinds are DIY friendly, guaranteed to fit, and always cheaper than big box stores. Blindster.com.
That accident on M14 eastbound approaching Beck Road is cleared, although we're still seeing some stop and go from Godfredson due to some residual backups there. Expect some slowdowns on I-94 eastbound between I-75 and Connors Street And we have some construction on I-696 eastbound from Orchard Lake Road to just past Franklin. That's blocking your 2 left lanes. Now, WJR Weather First from the Weather Channel. Here's your forecast.
Cooler force here today. Fog this morning, otherwise mostly cloudy skies. Middle to upper 40s this afternoon. Rain tonight, upper 30s. Rain Wednesday, mainly through the morning. Milder, highs tomorrow, mid-50s. Cloudy, cooler, mid-40s Thursday. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ken Boone on 760 WJR, where Michigan comes to talk.
Weekday mornings, it's veteran storyteller and award-winning journalist Kevin Dietz, breaking down the headlines Michiganders are talking about. Kevin talks, and then you talk on All Talk, 9 a.m. to noon on 760 WJR.
Listen at 3:48 for your chance to win tickets to see Suffs, the musical playing at the Fisher Theater, April 14th through the 26th. Again, that's 3:48, and that'll be your chance to win tickets to Suffs. The pioneering civil rights icon Jesse Jackson, Reverend Jesse Jackson, has died at the age of 84. Born during the Jim Crow era, he rose to national prominence in the 1960s as a close aide to the Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. He went on to become one of America's most transformative civil rights leaders and mounted 2 presidential campaigns in the 1980s. Here to talk a little bit about the Reverend Jesse Jackson, his legacy, is the Reverend Dr. Wendell Anthony, president of the Detroit NAACP chapter. Welcome, Reverend Anthony. We're so glad you could join us today.
Thank you so much for remembering Jesse at this very critical hour.
You know what? I was going to ask you to tell us your remembrance of the Reverend Jackson, but I come to find out he officiated your wedding. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Can't get much bigger than that.
No, in 2005, 21 years ago, Jesse did officiate at over the wedding. And he obviously did a good job because we're still married.
Of course.
So it was quite a time. Jesse, quite frankly, our prayers are with his family, Jonathan and Jesse Jr. and Santita, and all those who love and remember him. He is an iconic individual, a historic individual. You mentioned that he had 2 runs as president of the United States, 84 and then again in 88. He came to Detroit in 88. He made several trips to Detroit back and forth over the years. But in 1988, there was a Michigan primary. We had a big rally at Fellowship Chapel, my church, where Jesse spoke. It was filled with people from the sanctuary to the streets. And I remember it so well. He was a towering figure. And I remember the Secret Service coming in. And they brought the dogs in. They were sniffing and going around the church, and people were saying, what's going on here? And I can remember saying to the crowd that they used to bring the dogs in to attack us. Now they bring the dogs in to protect us. And the people started applauding loudly, and because they recognized the historic nature of the event. Well, we won Michigan, as you may recall. That was a significant time. There are so many occasions with Jesse Jackson, one who helped to free and liberate American soldiers, troops from overseas, one who registered over 7 million people, new people to vote, participate in the democratic process, from Operation Breadbasket to Operation Push to the Rainbow Coalition. This disciple of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who stood on the balcony with him as he was being killed, has come through the fire. And we remember him with great appreciation for his sacrifice, for the work that he did, because he helped us to recognize, in his words, that we are somebody. To those who are often looked upon as the least of these, the marginalized, the ostracized, Jesse made it very clear, no matter who you are, what you are somebody. And he inspired the nation and so many others to keep hope alive. The Rainbow Coalition that he built was not a rainbow over his head, but it was a rainbow over our nation. Red, black, white, yellow, brown people all coming together in a rainbow to work for the freedom and the dignity and respect for every American. That's who Jesse Jackson was, and that's who he will always be.
What was he like behind the scenes? Out on the podium where most of us saw him, and you saw him in news clips. He was fiery, right? He was fiery. What was he like behind the scenes?
Well, I'm glad you asked. He was a jokester. He liked to play jokes. He had a tremendous sense of humor. He was an amiable person. He liked family. He liked being around. He liked eating. He liked soul food. He liked just kicking it. I can remember the times when we would sit down and break bread together. And he just talked about the simple things of life. When he was growing up in South Carolina as a small boy, the kind of hardships that he had to experience, segregation in schools and all of that. But he kept on pushing. He said his life was kind of a metaphor for what he was doing. He would always leave you with a sense of hope, and you can do it. I remember once he was at the NAACP National Convention, and I was there also. And he came. He was going to be one of the speakers. It was my task to introduce him, and so I did introduce him. But as I happened to have on a rust-colored walking suit. And when he came to the stage, he started laughing. I said, "Man, what you laughing at?" He said, "Wendell, your suit is kind of loud, ain't it?" I said, "Look, man, it's better than blue jeans and fatigues." And he just bust out laughing, and the people got a laugh out of that. I mean, that's the kind of person Jesse Jackson was. I mean, he was a people person. He's the kind of person that you would like to sit down with and break bread. After the lights, cameras, and action go off, he was just as ordinary and real as any person that you might know. And so I will always appreciate him for what he was and for what he did. And he left me with the charges. He leaves to all of us, particularly in times such as this when hope seems to be waning and faith seems to be diminishing and people feel helpless. You are not. Jesse's message would be to stand up. We've come too far to be turned back now. And whatever you do, keep hope alive. That's not an expression. That's a way of life. And the way you keep hope alive is that you have both faith and hard work. You have to work. You have to vote. You have to participate. You have to get out of your comfort zone. Everybody does. And if everybody takes a piece of this, then we can all get the victory from this. But that was Jesse's message. And hopefully people will always remember the country preacher.
You talked about the millions of people that were registered to vote thanks to his efforts and his oratory, his skill as an orator, actually. Is that the biggest part of his legacy? We only have a couple of minutes left here, but do you think that's his biggest legacy?
I think were it not for Jesse Jackson, there would be no Barack Obama, because he did some things in his campaign that changed the kind of configuration of how votes could be tabulated, and it could be proportionate rather than winner take all, but it could be proportioned. So that brought about a different kind of a voting tally that was much more fairer for everybody. I think that's a part of his legacy, but the real part of Jesse's legacy is that he gave us hope. He gave us a winning spirit, a can-do spirit. He taught us that we are somebody, no matter what they say, what they do. It's not what they call you, it's what you call yourself. Always remember that you are somebody. That's what he taught us.
And isn't that really, when I just think about what parents tell their children, is that you need to, have hope in yourself. And what do you say to yourself, not what other people say about you? That is
absolutely
such wise words, Reverend Dr. Wendell Anthony, a close friend of the Reverend Jesse Jackson, who has died at the age of 84, an icon, a civil rights icon. grew up really under the arm of the Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. What a legacy he leaves this country. Thank you so much, Reverend Anthony, for joining us today. It's always such a pleasure to talk with you, and sorry it's under these circumstances, but thank you again.
Bless your heart. Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome, and we'll continue here on JR Afternoon.
Time-honored quality has made Guernsey Farms Dairy a staple in Michigan fridges for over 80 years. And with their commitment to dependable goodness, they are sure to be a staple in yours. Guernsey Farms Dairy has built their tradition right here in Michigan, focusing on what their customers and local grocers want and need. When John McGuire started Guernsey Farms Dairy, he had a vision, and now it's continued with the family's third generation. John wanted to create a legacy for his family and the community, and the McGuire family is proud to continue that work today. Guernsey now delivers over 70,000 gallons of milk a week because of their great team and its partnership with family-owned Walnutdale Farms in Wayland, Michigan. Remember, when looking for Guernsey's award-winning milk, ice cream, and lemonade, make sure to visit your local grocer or stop by their store for an experience like no other.
Quality that's delicious, that's the Guernsey difference.
LifeLock, how can I help?
The IRS said I filed my return, but I haven't.
1 in 4 tax-paying Americans has paid the price of identity fraud.
What do I do?
My refund, though.
I'm freaking out.
Don't worry, I can fix this.
LifeLock fixes identity theft guaranteed and gets your money back with up to $3 million in coverage.
I'm so relieved.
No problem. I'll be with you every step of the way.
1 in 4 was a fraud-paying American. Not anymore. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Are you 50 or older? This news is for you. The CDC recommends you get vaccinated against pneumococcal pneumonia. Even if you're healthy, your age puts you at risk. People 50 or older are over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia compared to adults 18 to 49. Just one shot can help protect you. Learn more and schedule at vaxassist.com. That's VAXassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Your morning is busy, so we'll keep it brief. Upgrade your routine with WJR's 5 Things First Thing. JR Morning with Chris, Lloyd, and Jamie break down the top 5 stories in just 5 minutes. Delivered straight to your device. Start your day by hitting play. Subscribe today on the always free WJR app.
Fox News, I'm Tom Graham. A suspicious glove found near the Arizona home of Nancy Guthrie did not match anyone in the FBI's database. Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos tells Fox News they're looking into other evidence.
We haven't narrowed it down to anything other than we have certain pieces of evidence that we're looking at to try to find this individual.
They also continue to ask the public for tips. The 84-year-old has been missing for more than 2 weeks. A Maryland immigrant mistakenly deported last year cannot be detained again by federal agents. That's according to a new court ruling.
The Trump administration has done nothing to show Kilmar Abrego Garcia's continued detention in ICE custody is consistent with due process, a federal judge rules, ordering the Salvadoran national to stay out of custody.
Fox's Jared Halpern in Washington. America is listening to Fox News.
WJR Traffic and Weather First.
This report is sponsored by Straight Talk Wireless. Every now and then you find a deal that actually feels like a win. With Straight Talk Wireless, you get more and pay less. Now that's a good deal. No contracts, no credit checks, no surprises, all on Verizon's 5G network. Find it in the same place you've always found straightforward prices, exclusively at Walmart and StraightTalk.com.
That accident on M14 eastbound approaching Beck Road has cleared. We're still seeing some stop and go from Godfredson due to some residual backups there. I-696 eastbound from Orchard Lake Road, just past Franklin Road. We have some construction blocking your 2 left lanes. You're still slow there. And expect a slower commute on I-94 eastbound between I-75 and Connors Street. Now WJR weather first from the Weather Channel. Foggy with periods of rain later tonight, a low of 37. Morning rain for Wednesday with a high of 55. Right now, overcast and 44 degrees. I'm Rich Luzensky, WJR Traffic and Weather First.
Hi, it's Paul W. here again for my friends at Victor's Home Solutions. The Michigan winter is especially hard on the roof of your home. Victor's recommends you keep an eye out for signs of winter roofing problems, icicles hanging from your gutters, uneven snowmelt on your roof, or even water stains on your ceiling. If you see any of these, don't wait. Call the roofing experts at Victor's Home Solutions. You see, unlike a lot of roofers in the area, Victor's doesn't shut down during the winter. They know your roof problems can't wait until spring. They can be at your home within 24 hours, do a free 21-point inspection on your roof, diagnose the issue, and recommend a solution. And if it is time for a new roof, their highly trained installation teams will install it perfectly the first time, clean up after themselves, and leave your home and yard nicer than how they found it. So if you see signs of winter roofing problems, don't wait. Set up your free no-obligation roof inspection and estimate today. 866-VICTORS. That's 866-VICTORS. Or online at victors.com.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
Greg is a real Prevagen user, and this is his story.
Hi, I'm Greg. I'm not an actor. I'm just a regular person. 8 years ago, I just didn't feel like I was on my game. I started taking Prevagen, and I want people to know that Prevagen has worked for me. Give it a try. I want it to help you just like it has helped me.
Prevagen, at stores everywhere without a prescription. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Testimonialist was compensated for their time.
Wow, did you see this?
They're at News Media. What is that?
Well, they're a national publishing and consulting firm. Media professionals all read their stuff. But look at who they have in the top 15 of the best radio shows in the entire country.
Oh, Focus with Paul W. Smith.
Yeah. JR Morning with Chris Renwick, Lloyd Jackson, and Jamie Edmonds.
And, of course, The Mitch Albom Show.
I guess that's what they mean when they say the great voices of the Great Lakes.
I always thought I had a pretty great voice. I really do.
Don't sing, hon. Don't. It ain't that great.
Barrett News Media says they're the tops in the country. Catch all of the great weekday shows and see for yourself. The great voices of the Great Lakes. 760 WJR. WJR Traffic and Weather. Wake up tomorrow with JR Morning with Chris Renwick, Lloyd Jackson, and Jamie Edmonds on 760 WJR. Right now, it's JR Afternoon with Ryan Ermanni, with Marie Osborne sitting in.
So chances are you've spotted one or more of these stories on your Facebook feed. A Detroit Lions player and his girlfriend give thousands of dollars to pay off kids' school lunch bills. Or the Lions hire the homeless to clean Ford Field. Or Detroit Tiger great Kirk Gibson now under contract with the Tigers. All of those, they're all fake news. But I was shocked at how many people had liked those posts or commented on them without realizing they were fake. Here to talk about the fake news now that's just permeating our Facebook feeds and other platforms pertaining to sports. Matt Friedman, co-founder of Tanner Friedman Strategic Communications. Matt, you wrote about this in a commentary. So Jim Leland didn't break down and cry when he found out the Tigers had signed Justin Verlander?
Maybe he did. I almost did, speaking for myself. But we have no credible reports that either one actually happened. Yet we saw it on Facebook, along with a lot of other stuff that's clogging up our feeds now. And I guess it makes people feel good to see good news, but in a lot of these cases, it's just not true. There's some kind of what we would call an engagement scam going on Facebook.
An engagement scam? I like that terminology.
Since I wrote about this over the weekend, I've heard from a few people in my network who know about more than I do about this stuff. And they've said that when you're a content creator, especially from another country, you can actually make money from Facebook by putting up content that people engage with, likes, comments, shares. And one of the easiest ways to get attention in this country is through sports. It's the lowest common denominator in communities like ours, especially. And that seems to be what the scam is here, is to make money on our attention. And you have to be really careful because thanks to AI, some of this stuff looks real.
I want to talk about that in just a second. But I was going to ask you, do you know what the gain is here? Are they harvesting information or is it just they're counting clicks?
Yeah, that's what I don't know. From what Jerry Stays over at Daily Detroit, he's got a great podcast. And so he's a frequent content creator and tries to get listeners through Facebook. He said that there is some money to be made through this kind of engagement, especially from accounts overseas. I don't have a lot of details on that. So, one of the things I wrote is I'm not really sure what the scam is here, but we are being scammed as we scroll through our feeds and we see stuff that's not real. And you have to be careful before you share it with your network.
I as I said a moment ago, I'm not a big sports person. Like I know enough obviously to do my job, but I would look at some of those posts and I'd think to myself, especially the one about Ford Field and the Lions hiring the homeless people to clean up Ford Field. And people going, yeah, this is so great. Oh, isn't that great? And then they would get, I think the rest of it was they would get free meals and shelter. And I'm thinking, just reading that, I could tell it wasn't for real. But people really bought into that.
Yeah, what I say is look at the news outlets here in Metro Detroit that you trust. If there was something like that had happened, I bet Steve Courtney would have been talking about it on WJR.
He's sitting right here and shaking his head saying, yes, he would.
I bet the beat writers from the news and the free press and the TV stations would have done it. So, the traditional news outlets, while they can't cover as much as they used to, they still cover sports. And there's another one, one of the former writers for the Detroit News messaged me over the weekend and said, there's all this stuff out there about Bob Seger going on tour. Don't you think if Bob Seger was going on tour, that would be big news here in Detroit? It wouldn't be something you see on a Facebook account that you've never heard of before.
Yeah. And you also mentioned in the piece that you wrote, what was it, Paul McCartney playing guitar with his right hand, right? Was that the one that you mentioned?
Yeah. I got that as one of the comments too. There were some useful things on Facebook, I guess, when I posted this over the weekend. But some people spoke up and said there's a lot more examples, even just sports. But we see it in sports every day, and it's not just stuff that feels good. There were fake accounts that were posting about both staff members from Michigan and Michigan State. Behind the scenes people, not their names mentioned, just pictures of random people who had died. And isn't it really sad? And it would be sad if it was true.
Yeah.
So you just have to be careful. And as I said, it can look so real if you're not paying close attention. My advice is, as a communicator, is to pay close attention.
I have a much broader question to ask in just a moment, but I do want to ask this about say this about the AI. I've seen so much AI, 2 cases in point. In my family, we love to share animal posts or videos, with one another. We usually do it in direct messaging. So I sent one out to my daughter, and it was this goat climbing down a ski like jump area at the Olympics, but it was walking down. And it was hilarious, right? So I sent it to her and she writes back, Mom, you do know this is AI, right? And I'm like, darn, is it really? And sure enough, in the back, you could see it says Milan Cortina 2022. So obviously it was fake, right? It was AI. And then there was another one where there was a bump shop in Detroit that had made using leftover metal. They'd made these shelters for stray cats, and it showed all these shelters that were kind of funky looking, and these stray cats. Well, that's also AI. So my broader question is, when is it going to come to the point where I just get so sick of seeing these fake accounts, fake AI, fake funny stuff, that I'm just going to stop using social media?
Yeah, that is a risk that they run for short-term gain, whatever that is, with these content creators who are either paying for distribution or getting paid for engagement. Not really sure how it works, but it's not good either way. And I've had clients that have asked me, is there anything we can do to look at the artwork to be able to say, is this fake or not? And what I usually say is, if it looks like maybe it's a cartoon, maybe it's a photograph, you can't really tell, it's probably fake AI generated something.
Yeah.
You mentioned looking at the year and looking at some of the details. You know, the AI generation is not quite good enough yet to make it look just like a photograph. There's usually something that's a little bit off. But the best thing you can do is to trust your trusted media outlets. They're all on Facebook. They're all on all of these platforms. The same brand you trust on the radio or on TV, or to buy their newspaper or to go to their website for news. Those are the same brands to trust for information on social media.
Thanks for the plug, Matt. We appreciate it. We work hard here. Hopefully chasing down the...
You try to get it right.
Yeah, try to get it right every minute of every single day, as you know. Matt Friedman, co-founder of Tanner Friedman Strategic Communications. Thanks for the great chat. We appreciate your time today.
Anytime, Marie. Thank you.
When we come back, we'll be talking more sports, and it's not fake news. We're talking real sports with Steve Courtney. Stay with us.
Join Jack Razula every Saturday night at 10 p.m. for Anything is Possible. Hear Jack present uplifting stories of some of the world's most remarkable people and their extraordinary life journeys. Anything is Possible. Sponsored in part by Ideal Group. We are Ideal.
Hi friends, Bill Golling here, and with the new Golling Chevrolet on Michigan Avenue in Wayne and Golling Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram on Mack in Detroit joining the family, now even more of you can see and experience the Golling difference, especially during this month's President's Day sales events. Those dealerships join Golling Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram locations in Bloomfield Hills, Chelsea, Roseville, Golling Alfa Romeo Fiat in Birmingham, Golling Buick GMC in Lake Orion, Golling Toyota in Warren, Golling Kia in Madison Heights, or you can always find us at golling.com.
Call us or text us. The number's the same. 1-800-859-0957. 1-800-859-WJR. Powered by Michigan Auto Law. Auto Accident Attorneys. Visit autolaw.com. That's autolaw.com.
Tonight, someone in our community will need a warm bed. Tomorrow, they'll need a meal. You can help make both possible. Join the club that's here for good by texting BREAD to 24365. Your support helps provide over 71,000 nights of shelter and more than 1.6 million meals a year. Tune in to the Bed and Bread Club Radiothon on 760 WJR, Friday, February 27th.
Hear that? That's Mike. He took ZQL Pure Z's, so now he's sleeping soundly on a Sunday night. ZQL Pure Z's are fast-acting melatonin gummies with a complementary botanical blend to help Mike get the sleep he needs to wake up refreshed and ready to conquer Monday.
Let's do this Monday.
ZQL Pure Z's, just for sleep. Really great sleep. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Use as directed.
With the new IHOP value menu, $6 is all it takes to go to your happy place, where stacks of pancakes with bacon and eggs are just $6 every day. French toast, sausage, and eggs are, you guessed it, $6. And fluffy omelets come with a side of pancakes and only cost $6. Go to your happy plates every day at IHOP. $7 in some locations. Available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
You could win a Tullymore Result Golf Trip for two. Play both Tullymore and St. Ives courses. That's 54 holes of golf with a cart. Plus 2-night stay and complimentary breakfast, sponsored by the Michigan Golf Show. To enter, text keyword golf to 800-859-0957. Qualifiers will receive 4 tickets to the Michigan Golf Show March 6th through the 8th at Vibe Credit Union Showplace in Novi. For more details and official rules, visit WJR.com.
WJR Traffic and Weather First.
This report is sponsored by SuperSure.
Do you own a small business? You need to hear this. A seismic shift is coming. It's time to get super sure. Not kind of sure, not pretty sure, not a little sure, but super sure. The seismic shift is coming. Super sure, coming soon.
That accident on I-94 eastbound after Allard Avenue is cleared. Still seeing some residual backups from Cadieux. Expect delays on the Jeffries westbound between Farmington and Levan Road. Also on I-94 eastbound between 11 and 12 Mile. Now WJR Weather First from the Weather Channel. Here's your forecast.
Areas of fog force here as we head through the rest of our morning. Otherwise cloudy and cooler today, middle to upper 40s. Rain tonight, upper 30s. Rain Wednesday, mainly through the morning. Milder highs tomorrow, mid-50s. Cloudy, mid-40s Thursday. From the Weather Channel, I'm meteorologist Ken Boone on 760 WJR, where Michigan comes to talk.
Call us or text us. The number's the same. 1-800-859-0957. 1-800-859-0WJR. Powered by Michigan Auto Law. Auto Accident Attorneys. Visit autolaw.com. That's autolaw.com.
Call now at 1-800-859-0WJR. That's 1-800-859-0957. Be caller 9 to win a pair of opening night tickets to see Suffs, the musical. 760 WJR invites you to enjoy Suffs, playing at Fisher Theater April 14th through the 26th. Behind every powerful woman and in more powerful women, direct from Broadway comes the acclaimed Tony Award-winning musical Suffs, about the brilliant, passionate, and funny American women who fought tirelessly for the right to vote. For a bonus chance to win, text keywords Suffs, that's spelled SUFFS, to 800-859-0957. For official rules, visit WJR.com. Tickets available for purchase at us.atgtickets.com. Good luck, everyone. Let's check in with Steve Courtney, who tells me he's got just a cornucopia of things to talk about today.
I do, as a matter of fact, there, Miss Marie. Good afternoon to you. Happy Fat Tuesday, everybody. And I have a question for you there, Marie.
Okay.
Over the years of us working together, I know you are quite the accomplished baker. Now, that being said, have you ever thought about whipping up your own at-home punchki?
Never in a million years. I've made donuts before.
Okay.
And I'm pretty good at it, those. But
I can only imagine.
Punchki are an animal that, no, those are best bought at a nice Polish bakery in Hamtramck.
And we certainly have a lot of those and have had for years, as a matter of fact.
My gosh.
I was
yeah.
just curious.
No, I've never. No, I mean, it's just one of those things that are, you need to have the grease, like a big thing of grease, and it has to be a certain temperature.
Right.
And doing that in your house, that's really tough.
Yeah, and who has that at their home? A big vat of grease.
Well, yeah, that's the start of the problem right there.
Meanwhile, let's start with this. Tiger Woods, ladies and gentlemen, not ruling out a return to professional golf as early as this year's Masters in April. That will be April 9th through the 12th. I just happen to know that off the top of my head. This according to the 15-time major. Now, all of a sudden, can you believe it? Tiger Woods is 50 years of age. He underwent lumbar disc replacement surgery in October, also ruptured his Achilles last March. Not a very good combination. He has not played in an event since the Open Championship, that at Royal Troon in 2024. Now, Tiger has said that the Achilles no longer an issue, but the disc replacement surgery has been a little bit of a different deal. It's just sore. It takes time, he said. No official timetable for his return. The toll of the surgeries on Wood's back have made it difficult for him to walk 72 holes over the course of a tournament. And by the way, in case you're wondering, Tiger has previously shot down any idea of playing while riding in a cart. But he said today, as a matter of fact, it's something he would consider on the Champions Tour. And remember, folks, he is now 50. He is eligible to play on that tour. Big goings on here. Major League Baseball Players Association executive and former Tiger Tony Clark resigned today, leaving the union without its longtime leader less than a year before the expiration of MLB's collective bargaining agreement. This is rather substantial. Now, his resignation also comes in somewhat of a storm of the Eastern District of New York's ongoing investigation into the finances and other dealings of the MLBPA, including questions about One Team Partners, a multi-billion-dollar group licensing company, part owned by the union, and Players Way, a youth baseball initiative. Now, Clark's resignation has kind of gone a little bit sideways with those who are preparing for the inevitable. Already expected to be a very contentious debate once the current CBA expires on December 1st. Now, the process for naming his replacement, unclear at the moment, but Bruce Meyer, the union's deputy executive director, has been seen by several player leaders as the most obvious candidate to take over. There are those, Marie, who are under the impression that come December 1st, when this current collective bargaining agreement comes to an end, we probably will not see baseball for a while. Why? Well, MLB owners are rather emphatic about a salary cap. Members of the union, some pretty high marquee players, have already said that is not going to happen. So you've got the owner saying salary cap, players, members of the Baseball Players Association saying it's not happening. So that is why it's expected that this could be a long, long resolve. And, just to shed some local light on it, with Tarek Skubal in his last year as a Tiger, hypothetically, I'll just throw this out here. Hypothetically, the Tigers keep him through the trade deadline throughout this year. A lot of expectation with this Tiger team. So the 2026 season comes to an end. He's going to be shopping his services along with his agent, Scott Boras, knowing that there could be an issue with a CBA in just a couple of months on December 1st. Who's going to shell out the alleged $400 million over 10 years for Tarek Skubal?
The implications of this are huge.
It's crazy. It shocked a lot of people.
And we have so many hopes pinned on this Tiger team this year.
Yeah, expectation is extremely high.
Yeah.
And AJ Hinch, this dude's the master. First full workout for the Tigers was this past Sunday in Lakeland. And he gave a speech. And according to those that were there, it was pretty electrifying. Basically, look, here we are, expectation, but right now we're at the bottom of the mountain. And we have got to bite, scratch, and claw to get to where we want to be as a team. Loves his team, loves the character, loves the fight. So we'll see. And of course, now that JV, Justin Verlander, is back.
I was going to say, that's like, everybody's buzzing about that.
And you've got Framber Valdez, Mr. Illich, Chris, that is, opens up the pocketbook a little bit. So can't wait. As a matter of fact, Grapefruit League play gets underway this Saturday.
Yeah.
The Tigers in Tampa to face those New York Stankies at 110. Listen, folks, this is a wonderful night for college hoops. Getting underway at 6:30. You've got number 1 now, Michigan, on the road in West Lafayette to take on number 7, Purdue. Michigan right now, 24-1, 14-1 in conference play. They'll go into this tilt at Mackey Arena having won 10 in a row. The Boilermakers, they're 21-4, 11-3 in the conference. After losing 3 in a row in January, the Boilermakers have won 4 straight. Michigan, if you pay attention to this sort of thing, they are favored by 2.5. Then later on tonight, the tilt you will hear right here on WJR. You've got the UCLA Bruins at the Breslin Center. Michigan State under the watchful eye of Magnum T.I. Tom Izzo, now number 15 in all the land, 20-5, 10-4 in the conference. The Bruins have won 5 of their last 7, and of course, it means the return of Xavier Booker to the Breslin Center, the former Spartan, 7.2 points per game to go along with 3.7 rebounds for the Bruins. Now, we know about my Spartans coming off the nightmare in Madison last Friday night where they fell to the Badgers 92-71. And MSU has lost 3 of their last 4. No better time to get things going in the right direction than tonight. Of course, that's an 8:30 start, and you might want to have the blowtorch handy, WJR, because the games, both of them I just talked about, are on Peacock.
Awesome.
You have it? By the way, MSU is favored by 8.5.
Really quick about Tiger Woods. That guy does not give up. And you know what I think is interesting? Lindsey Vonn, who the two of them at one time dated, remember?
Yes.
The skier. I mean, and she just put in this performance where she, just got so deeply injured participating in the Olympics. These are athletes who just don't give up.
Well, that's a common theme. I think when you are a professional athlete,
Wow.
one of the hardest things to do is to stop.
Is to say
because
I've
this is
done
what
enough.
you're used to. This is you're a competitor.
Yeah, it's your life.
It's across the board, actually.
Yeah, very true. Very true. All right, Steve, thanks a lot. Mitch Albom coming your way next. Ken Brown, Steve Courtney, the entire crew with Mitch Albom this afternoon. I'm Marie Osborne. I'll be back in tomorrow for Ryan Ermanni. Have a great afternoon.